presentation too. My name is Jean-François. I'm a PE teacher, national bodyboard champion, a waterman for 35 years, as a swimmer, surfer and spear fisherman. In 2011, following a shark attack in the herd of our main sea resort, I joined a fishing expedition to find the bull shark responsive. This caused a lot of controversy, which led me to my struggle for shark mitigation. Then followed 8 years of fight in which I personally became involved. I founded the first Réunion Shark Attack Prevention Society, Ocean Prevention Réunion. My objective is to maintain access to the sea. I'm not a marine biologist or academic, but through my relentless study, many people consider me as a specialist. This is a tragic story of my book. For 6 years, it has been illegal to go in ocean in Réunion Island. This is my book. If some people are interested, I can give it. It's not a problem. So what happened in Réunion Island? Réunion is a small, isolated island lost in Indian Ocean. It has been a French territory since 1946, where aquatics activity have been developed over the last 40 years. Our island is a surfing paradise with more than 60 surf spots close to the shore and waves all year round. The population enjoys excellent health service. There is no malaria, dangerous insect or reptile. It has a mild climate with a water temperature of between 75 and 84 degrees Fahrenheit. It's France and Europe in the tropic. Surfing arrived on the island in the 1970s, producing some of the best French champions like Jeremy Flores and Joan Defay. Réunion Island was at this time known as the French Little Hawaii. However, today it is hard for young surfers to continue their tradition because the ocean has been officially off limits since July 2013. The shark crisis has turned our beaches into a cemetery. French government bureaucrats dictate their colonial policies with decisions taken from Paris, not in Réunion. So, in the past time, the risk of shark attack had always been taken seriously in Réunion Island, but it was located in wilderness area of the island where you can find some black sand beaches with lava pebble, where heavy winds are regular and where the water becomes turbid after heavy rain. Surfers have avoided those areas since the first shark attack in the late 80s and have never asked for a mitigation policy there. This is the West Coast, who was considered safe, as there had been no serious attacks in this area before Eric Dargent was attacked in February 2011. The unexpected localization was the first sign of a major change which motivated our initial fishing expedition and subsequent demands for policies to protect the public. There are a lot of debate about the cause of this measure change, mainly because solutions depend on cause and fact. My book and my other presentation you can find on internet details this complex and controversial topic. To resume, the biologists explain that the increasing rate of shark attacks in Réunion Island is due to environmental deterioration. The biologists say that bull sharks, that are estuarine sharks, came from the east coast of the island to the west one, or from the rest of the world, due to our strong urbanization and agriculture. Yet there is no link between shark attack and urbanization. If there was one, there will be thousands of attacks everywhere else in the world. So far, Réunion Island concentrates 40% of the world's deadly attacks in 2017. But Réunion remains to be one of the least polluted French territory. Turbidity due to heavy rain should not be confused with pollution. This is Réunion here. We have 100% of good water quality. Surfrider Foundation local office tried an ambitious water quality analysis project, which was unsuccessful because it did not have public subsidies. In the other hand, for us, for people who are living near the ocean, the only significant and specific change in Réunion are the end of the shark meat market in 1999 due to a suspicion of Ciguatera tarshatoxin, which ended shark fishing and led to their proliferation. And the second point, the establishment of a marine reserve, which had led to the disinhibition of predators. Sharks are neither bad or nice. They just have appropriated the seaside space liberated from the human threat that once constituted traditional fishing. So this is before the marine area for a 7-year period, and this is after the marine area. But for biologists, this is not a proof. No problem in Réunion. But it is no longer possible to despite conservation policies without being labeled an heretic. According to the progressive narrative, human activity is to blame, whether it be overfishing, pollution, global warming, human population growth, or just irresponsible behavior. Basically, all human activity are posited except the policy to protect dangerous predators. And in the worst case, when all these predator excuses no longer work, they demand peaceful cohabitation, the acceptance of people being eaten as an unavoidable fatality, or the cessation of nautical activities, voluntary or through prohibition. The same situation is found on all shark attack hotspots around the world. Even Australia and South Africa are gradually forced to stop security fishing measures under the pressure of NGOs, scientific media, in a context of significantly influence of the vegan and animalist ideology. Well, the initial schism that took place on Réunion Island is better understood now. The image of surfer as the leading environmental activist of the ocean was in danger when the Réunion community obtained from the French authorities a preventive fishing after Mathieu Schiller's death in September 2011. An organization with radical method has hijacked the debate to discredit and isolate us in a growing international media context on shark attack. The starting point was an article in September 2011 titled La Réunion surfer are an embarrassment to the international surfing community, and with a poster, surfer as all, also in 2011. They like us very much. This organization, federated with a collective of NGOs and other associations, attacked our reputation by multiplying legal proceedings against the authorities whenever the official fishing policy was put in place. Very fortunately, after several years of fierce battle, we've almost beaten them, at least to the point that they no longer have a representative on Réunion Island. Réunion has another specific problem. We are a young island constantly battered by wave and current, with almost no coral reef apart from a few small lagoons. The ocean has always been ferried by Reunion Islanders. The population does not traditionally learn to swim. As a result, the aquatic activity introduced by the French are considered foreign and basically white. So the local viewed shark attack with contempt and the subsequent closure of the ocean as laudable by an unconcerned local opinion. Reunion mitigation policy now is since 3 years. A broad mitigation policy has been put in place in response to the fight led by the Prevention Association. And one of these aspects is the use of the smart drumline, which can target dangerous sharks and keep bycatch alive. Last Reunion fishery study showed that regular and localized fishing effort on bull shark and tiger shark works. In return, a total ban on fishing for 5 reef shark species was introduced in February 2015. The aim is to restore an unbalanced ecosystem due to an excessive bull shark presence. In Reunion, about 350 very large tiger shark and bull shark have been killed since 2011. But fate indicates that fishing fishing was useless as the attacks continued. But the question is whether how many more deaths if did not have this program? 5 deaths, 10 deaths more? We tried the non-lethal barrier net, but security was attempted in 2016. But bull shark attacked twice inside the net and caused the end of this project. €5 million failed. From a global perspective, we are confronted by statistic manipulation. Conservationist propaganda convince people that if sharks are in danger, it's a result of their bad image they receive from the media or for the film job. This results in a multitude of ways to belittle the risk, even from the most powerful people. Example of Bill Gates here, who makes silly comparison with mosquito to ridicule shark attacks. A survey was conducted in 2014 by a large European communication group for the Ministry of Ecology in France. Comparison with other unlike cause of death, mosquito, coconuts, lightning, were described as statistic manipulation. They also point out that the anti-massacre reactions are excessive, disconnected from local specificity and species. The idea of killing sharks merely to preserve a leisure activity combined with the irresponsibility of surfer allows NGOs to maintain hysteria around the debate. Even the Florida Museum, responsible for the International Shark Attack File, ridicules the low risk of shark attack, comparing it to other improbable risks. These tactics are commonly used by scientific and the media to make sharks seem cute, while reinforcing the stigma of anyone who dare to call for preventive measures. The victim becomes the only culprit. The effort of the scientific institutions are not concerned with stopping the attack, but in ridiculing the probability of their occurrence and making them seem acceptable. Another scientific approach proposed by Christopher Neff is to identify attack as mere encounters. The stake would be considerable according to the most powerful NGO Pew, funded by a petrol tycoon. Save the shark, save the world. To save the planet, let us sacrifice a human, or better still a subhuman, a parasite, a sufferer. What if accepting the death of a few hundred sharks for mitigation could reduce attacks number, improve the image of shark, and lead in return to protect millions of others? Yet sharks are not fished around the world because of their bad image, but rather for their meat. 76 million sharks are fished each year for food, and only around 2,000 for mitigation. About USA, so I don't want to be too long, but as I am in USA, I talk about quickly. Hawaii, only 6 fatalities for 39 years, so it's not a problem in Hawaii. The risk is acceptable and accepted, given a large number of people in the water and the very low number of fatalities, only 6. Hawaii does not employ a shark mitigation policy. There is only tiger shark, no bull shark in Hawaii, and so they have not the same problem as in Réunion. Florida is the epicenter of shark attack around the world, with an average of 25 attacks per year, with very few lethal attacks. In Florida, most attacks are not serious, and they are contained to just momentarily close the beach with information. Florida, many swimmers, sharks, and also recreational fishermen. It is a paradox to note that the no-kill movement comes from the United States, a country that kills a lot of sharks. For example, in Florida there is full of shark fishing contests, and there is no problem for the NGO in United States. The United States, a very low risk, but it's one of the largest fishing countries, much more than China, which does not fish. The USA supported commercial fishing in the 80s, to the point of publishing a dedicated manual of shark fishing. The USA impulsed the shark fishing in the world in the 80s. There is shark fin soup all over the United States, serving a large Asian community. 2018 East Coast US shark fishing quota. Despite regular fishing, research shows shark population improving of US East Coast. According to this paper, hundreds of thousands of sharks can be fished on the East Coast. American fishery supply a strong demand for fins, selling the meat for only 50 cents. But the market is now threatened by the lobbying of shark lawyers. Scientists who have taken years to establish sustainable fishery are worried about the end of this trade. If the United States can no longer supply the shark fin market legally, then uncontrolled poaching will take its place. So this is the statistic for all the different regions of the United States. So you can see that it's a really low risk for millions of surfers and swimmers. So here you don't need a mitigation program. This is for California. Here in San Diego, we are one of the hotspots of United States, but show that it's the most affected area in California. Attacks are almost exclusively caused by great white shark, which paradoxically pose a much lower threat than bull sharks in terms of number. In my opinion, this is because they mainly feed off marine mammals, which are rich in fat. Great white typically turn away when they realize they have mistaken a human for a seal. But an investigative bite can obviously be catastrophic for a person. The last deadly attack in September 2018 revived the debate at Cape Cod, as scientists admit an increase in the population of great white shark. But with the very low risk of fatal attacks, there is a little chance that this will result in a mitigation program. Fatal shark attack remain an extremely rare phenomenon on the planet, but continue to receive growing media attention because this phenomenon fascinates public opinion in our modern societies where shark and surfer have become new icons. In relation of population and people in the water, Réunion Island exceeds all records despite the ocean being closed since 2013. We have the only fatality for the 2019. Surf image and shark attack. Surf is a traditional practice in Polynesia, then bourgeois with Jack London. Surfing has become a symbol of leisure, first with the Beach Boy, then a counterculture symbol with Apocalypse Now. It's the starting point of a persistent image that transforms that of marginal road living on the outskirts of society to being recovered by the hippie movement of the 70s, cool and eco-friendly, living on peace, love and wave at the expense of society in a perpetual search for pleasure. To ending up as a cooks or daydreaming idiots, such as the character Bryce from the recent French movies Bryce the Nice. Charlie Hebdo, this is the worst thing we have received in Réunion. The successive representation of the surfer are similar from place to place, regarded as marginal, irresponsive, in search of trouble and rule breakers. What if the shark played an ecological role in ridding the beach of these parasites? This is the idea launched by Charles, head of Charlie Hebdo in 2012, after 2 attacks closed in Réunion, where he glorified sharks, shoes the smug wonkers to pieces before shitting them back out. So, yeah. So this is why I talk about shark attack today here. It's because you see the percentage of recreational surfers gradually increased to exceed 50% in 2018. So in the start there was no surfers. There is propaganda every day to put the responsibility on surfers. But the reality is different. Surfers are a community who work, who have money, and all the study can show this fact. And surfing can give economic development for territories. The image of surfing oscillates between a sophisticated activity used by fashion and advertising, often using the image of a demigod with an amazing body who's able to tame nature. The surfer is very close to nature and ecological value. At the same time, this practice also symbolizes free time, leisure, uselessness. Enjoying nature for recreation is no longer acceptable in the 21st century, especially in the face of the ocean totem. In recent years, the surfing community has been in turmoil. An attack on Mick Fanning, Kelly Slater, it's 2015, sorry. 2015. Kelly Slater commenting in favor of shark fishing in Réunion, cancellation of WSL competition in Margaret River, with contradictory position where the politically correct are on the side of peaceful cohabitation, Rastovich, Tom Carroll, nobody to defend humans, even Kelly Slater forced to backpedal. With the myth of a peaceful solution through innovation, with the promise of individual or even collective magnetic device. What future? Is it possible to imagine that the number of attacks would drop while the effort to protect sharks increase, especially at the popular beaches on the west coast, where on the west country, where the NGO influence and sensitivity around this subject is strongest. In the region concerned, there is no alternative but to become accustomed to an increase in death and mutilation. We no longer count on solidarity, perhaps a global society leap that would put the human before the animal. But it is not likely for the future in our society so sick of ourselves to the point of making the actress of human beings an ethical model. The ocean have been banned for 6 years, and there are still hundreds of ocean users who continue despite the ban. So 24 shark attacks in 2019 and only one in Réunion. As the proverb said, out of sight, out of mind. But even though here in California you are far away, we have links, as shown in the recent photo of Macy, the daughter of a great California champion, Rob Machado. She also surfs in Réunion in unprotected areas, defying the risk and the ban. Thank you for your listening, and this is a victim of 8 years, and there will be more and more and more because we have to protect sharks.